Okay then, ladies, my name's Glenn. This is a video blog on women over 30 menopause exercise tips. So you may be wondering why a guy is talking about menopause and menopausal tips. So a little bit about myself. I was in the military doing military stuff and also exercise. After that, I owned a ladies' gym. At that time, most of my clientele were ladies, often older and often with going through the menopause, or perimenopause or menopause. What I found during that time, and with my training, I've always remembered this ever since, is that it's much harder for ladies going through the menopause. One of the hardest battles you're going to have is training and maintaining muscle and reducing body fat during the menopause. So this video is all about that. The symptoms, there's too many for me to mention on this video. However, if you are going through the menopause, you will understand how hard it is. Or if you're the partner of someone going through the menopause, you'll also understand how difficult it is going through this process. I'm literally just going to talk here for a couple of minutes on the hormonal effects, symptoms of menopause, and how we can mitigate and try and improve some of these. So we can still keep training, but it is different, okay? So it's all about a hormonal shift, the menopause, and that's the hormonal shift of what's happening to the primary, some of the big primary hormones are what's causing all of this problem with training. So it's a huge increase in production of cortisol. Now, cortisol is a stress hormone, and if we were a caveman or cavewoman, at times when there wasn't a lot of food, our body would be stressed, and it would release the stress hormone cortisol, which then stores body fat for us to survive longer until the next time we can get food. So that's one of its primary things, is to save your life. Cortisol, it's a good hormone, why it's designed in the body, but now human beings are always stressed. When we go through the menopause, this hormone is produced much more, store much more body fat. So anything that's causing stress during that menopause phase needs to be reduced as much as we can. And that's what we're going to talk about mainly here today. So the increased cortisol and stress also, and the time, also it affects other hormones, like the primary ones like testosterone and estrogen. Now, both of these play a huge part in muscle building, moods, body fat reduction, like weight loss, and just everything. They're some of the biggest ones they are for how we feel, our mood, and how much muscle we can put on, and our metabolism. So they've both reduced, which has the effect of finding it really hard to maintain our muscle or build muscle, which then affects our metabolism. Now, the metabolism, the thyroid gland, and this thyroid gland is our body's heating. So when the thyroid gland becomes less effective, we're less effective at creating our body heat and our metabolism. We burn less fat at that time. A good example of how it works, if you go and visit your grandparents or older people, and you go in their house is always boiling hot, always red hot, because their thyroid isn't working as effectively as a 20-year-old. Now, if you go into the house of a 20-year-old man, for example, with a really powerful thyroid gland, spends a lot of time outside, they'll always be hot. And an old granny couple in their house, when metabolism is slowed right down, they will always be cold, and the heating is always going to be on. So what all this does is it makes it really hard for us to maintain muscle and reduce body fat. And unfortunately, when ladies go through the menopause, two of the prime places where they store the body fat are the belly and the back of the arms, or the bingo wings. And it's just the way it is. And there is a hormonal reason behind it. Now, it's not all doom and gloom. We can still, ladies can still train during the menopause, and all of the advice pretty much says they should, to try and reduce the symptoms of the menopause and make life easier and happier and better. Is you should train. You just got to train differently than you would in your 20s or 30s, for example, or before menopause, because actually women can go through the menopause in the late teens, 20s, and 30s as well. So it's one of them things like that. Now, you should still keep doing exercise. Just I would say we try and tone it down. I'm going to go through 3 tips that I think are really, really beneficial and should make life easier for reducing the symptoms of the menopause. The first one is strength training, really important. And if you look at most video blogs about menopause, unless it's from a ladies' gym that run a lot of classes, they will say the primary thing to do would be to maintain and keep doing strength training. Now, this can involve bodyweight exercises, squats, press-ups, that sort of stuff. Or it could involve the TheraBands, so there's the bands for exercise. Or it could involve plated machines. So just trying to maintain some muscle activation, blood supply to the muscle, surrounding joints, connective tissue. We need to keep trying to maintain that all the time. And it's unlikely it's going to build muscle unless you do take extra steps, but it could assist in maintaining that muscle that you still have, which will try and slow down the effects of the menopause and the effects of the thyroid degradation. So muscle training, strength training, do exercise, like muscular body exercise. What I'll also say is try and create a healthy habit of doing exercise every day. Now, if you just train one day, then do nothing for 4 or 5 days, then train again, each time it's a shock to the system. So again, so it's adding extra stress to the system. If you go and train the same times each day, every day, then it becomes a habit. It becomes a healthy habit. You're used to it. Your body, the whole thing, expects that to happen, and there'll be less stress upon you. And the extra sort of all body communication stuff, and doing the exercise, all the endorphins released, it's going to make you feel better anyway. And you're constantly burning calories, maybe at a slower rate, but you're exercising and you feel happier, and you build a habit if you do it enough times in a row. So strength training, training every day, trying to build a healthy exercise habit. The 2 first tips. And my third tip, and in a lot of cases, I would say this is probably the most important tip, is I would say the healing effects of nature, or how nature for a lot of individuals is a cure-all, fixes all sorts of ailments and issues, and makes us feel way happier. Now, you could, some people believe in more holistic ideas of it, the whole nurturing elements of the ground, the earth, hugging trees. And I do to a certain extent as well. However, just the benefits of being outside, near running water, getting back to nature, walking along the beach on the sand in your feet, fresh air, green grass, trees, animals around you, nature, insects. I believe it has a real huge cognitive and mindset effect and makes you feel amazing. And it definitely helps for me in that way. Being outside in nature puts me in a much better place in my head, my mindset, my happiness, motivation, drive. But also from my experience, and I've had a lot of really complex clients going through a lot of complex stuff in their head, and all of them, bar none, when we take them outside in the fresh air, mountains, trees, seaside, rivers, lakes, I see a huge improvement in them, just getting better and better. More time we spend outside with fresh air. And that's even without taking into consideration the vitamin D from the sun. You know, vitamin D, a lot of people call it the happiness hormone, because vitamin D is a hormone as well. So some people call it the happiness hormone. So vitamin D, enough of it, adequate amount, helps with your mood, making you happier, fresh. Even sunbeds for a lot of people make them way better. So my 3 tips. Now, it's not all doom and gloom. I would believe you should definitely train during the menopause, but strength training, do something. Don't be extreme. Don't try and do lots of really extreme strength training. I wouldn't recommend going across and doing a CrossFit workout whilst you're going through the menopause, or exercises such like that. Yoga, Pilates, exercise in the house, all that sort of stuff. Just get it done. You can exercise tons in the house just with YouTube. Go on YouTube, find all the videos. I have some on my channel, but there's tons everywhere. Pilates, yoga, bodyweight exercises, band exercises, loads on YouTube. So strength training, do every day. Even if it's just 5 minutes, if you did 5 minutes 3 or 4 times during the day, you'd probably burn way more calories than doing 1/2 or 40 minute session, because the afterburn, the effect of calories getting used after exercise, doing little 5-minute exercises extends that time of burning calories. So strength training every day if you can, even if it's just 5-minute Pilates, and get outside. Time spent outside is seldom wasted. I call it sharpening the saw, time for myself, so time for yourselves. And that's it. And that time for yourself could be music, meditation, but go outside, get some fresh air on you, get some sunshine on your skin, and look at nature. No extreme exercises. So that's it. These are my 3 tips. It's not all doom and gloom for menopausal ladies. It is harder, no doubt. You should still train. I recommend it totally. If you'd like any more advice, get in touch or have a look at stuff on this channel. Thank you.